Let's take a look at intersecting and parallel lines. Here is our first problem. We've got a pair of intersecting lines, and you can see that we know this angle here is 148 degrees, and it is vertical because it's directly across from angle 4. And so those two are exactly the same. So the measure, we write that with a little m, of angle 4 is also 148 degrees. Now, we have another situation going on in this problem in that we have something called a linear pair. Now, a linear pair are two angles that make up a line. So the 148 degree angle here, and then this angle right here, all together, they make this line. And that is 180 degrees. So we could write a little equation that says 148 degrees plus whatever 3 is. I'm just going to call that x for a minute because I don't know what it is. But those two together add up to 180 degrees. And so some of you might be already thinking ahead saying, well, let's just take away 148 from 180. And that's going to tell us how many degrees are left in that line. So when I subtract those two, x is going to be 32 degrees. So the measure of angle 3 is 32 degrees. And it is directly across from angle 1. So these two are also both the same. And so angle 1 is also 32 degrees, but we got something else going on in angle 1. And that is angle 1 has this algebra expression of 5x plus 12. And so we're actually going to need to figure out what x is, and so let's write an equation that says 5x plus 12 is the same as 32 degrees. And if we solve that for x, I'll take away a 12 on both sides, and so we get 5x equals 20, and what we're left with is x equals 4. So I now found all 4 angles, and I know the value of x. All right. Take a look, we got 2 more intersecting lines here, and I'm focused right now on looking at angle 1 and angle 2, because as you can see, angle 1 and angle 2 make a straight line, and in a straight line we call that a linear pair, and that means they add up to 180 degrees. And take a look at the expressions that I have. Angle 1 is 9x plus 5, and angle 2 is 14x plus 14. And if I add both of those together, it adds up to the straight line, and the straight line is 180 degrees. And now it just becomes a two-step equation with combining my terms. I got 9x and I got 14x. That makes 23x. And then 5 plus 14 is 19. And that together equals 180 degrees. So if I take away 19, we're going to just solve for x. I get 23x equals 161 degrees. And if I divide that by 23 on both sides, I end up with x equals 7. Now that doesn't exactly solve my problem, but it does tell me what x is. If I want to find this angle number 1, that is going to be 9x, which is 9 times 7, plus 5. Well, 9 times 7 is 63, plus 5 is 68 degrees. So the measure of angle 1 is 68 degrees, but it's the exact same angle as this one over here, the measure of angle 3. They're vertical. So the measure of angle 3 is also 68 degrees. And that means I got to figure out what 2 and 4 are. I could do that a couple of ways, just like on the last problem. If I know that this is 68 degrees, I could find angle 2 because together these two make 180 degrees. So I could just simply go 180, take away 68, and that would tell me what angle 2 is, and that's going to be 112 degrees. And that's it. And so an angle 4 is also 112 degrees. So there we go. Here in this example, we got another pair of intersecting lines, but you can see that angle 1 and angle 3 are the two angles that I know something about, and they're directly across from each other. And when they're directly across from each other, we call those vertical angles, and vertical angles are congruent. And so that means they're the same. Vertical angles are congruent, which means this 4x plus 12 angle 1 is going to be the exact same as that 8x minus 12 angle 3. So we're going to go ahead and just write the equation that says 4x plus 12 is the same thing as 8x minus 12. And we're going to solve this equation. We'll move the smallest x first. So I'm going to go ahead and take away 4x on both sides. And that's going to leave me with 12 on the left. And over here on the right side, 8x take away 4x is positive 4x minus 12. So I've got two more steps. I'm going to go ahead and isolate x. We're going to add 12. And that's going to leave me with 4x on the right and 24 on the left, because that's 12 plus 12. And then we're going to go ahead and divide both of those by 4. And that's going to give me x is 6. So with x is 6, I'm going to go ahead and be able to find all the rest of these angles, because you see this is 4 times 6 plus 12. And 4 times 6 is 24. 24 plus 12 is 36 degrees. And over here is 8 times 6, and that's 48, minus 12. And 48 take away 12 is also 36 degrees. And we expect that because they're vertical and they're equal to each other. So far what we know is the measure of angle 1 is 36 degrees. And the measure of angle 3 is also 36 degrees. What we got to do is we got to find the measure of angle 2 and the measure of angle 4. So let's go ahead and leave those. Let's go get those now. So I know that the measure of angle 1 is 36. And if you recall from the last example, 1 and 2 make up this whole line. And a whole line is 180 degrees. So 36 degrees plus whatever angle 2 is 180 degrees. Now, I don't want you, I just left angle 2. That's an angle. It's an unknown that I'm trying to find. That doesn't mean that it's plus 2. You know, we're not adding to get 38. That's not true. So if I take away 36 degrees, I'll always find the other angle. So the measure of angle 2 is going to be 180, take away 136, which is 144 degrees. So this angle right here is 144 degrees, and this angle down here is 144 degrees.